watching Sports Extra Overtime.
Watching Sports Extra Overtime.
Welcome back to Sports Extra Overtime. It's now time for our post-game breakdown segment with our man, Aaron Ferguson. We welcome him in. He's our Friday Night Football correspondent. He's at Canton tonight. The Little Giants taking on the Morton Potters. Aaron, a really competitive game on paper. Obviously, both teams 2-0 coming into tonight, but kind of a tale of two halves as Morton ends up with a victory.
Yeah, it absolutely was a tale of two halves. Canton really dominated the line of scrimmage early in the game throughout the first half. Morton kind of benefited from a couple of three personal foul penalties to lead on their first touchdown drive. And then they had a couple of big plays there in the second half that led to touchdowns. Great catches by Bobby Hines. Yeah, Bobby Hines was the guy. I was there at the end of the second quarter. We're going to see these highlights here. Hines with an incredible screen pass here. He breaks off a long touchdown right before halftime. That kind of changed the momentum really too, because it was really close throughout the first 20 minutes or so of the game, and then Morton really just kind of stepped on the gas after that, right? Yeah, and Canton has a lot of guys that are playing two ways, which is obviously a big advantage for Morton. They have a couple of guys that can just play one way and focus on stuff like that. Callie Stein had a huge game rushing the football, 147 yards, 27 carries, a couple touchdowns, but Morton really just rested. And then the big blunder happened during the coin toss. Canton chose to kick, which is their choice on the kickoff, as opposed to defer. And so they actually had a kickoff to Morton to start the game and in the second half. And on the second half kickoff, Morton took it for a touchdown. Yeah, we saw it right there. Glatz with an incredible touchdown return, too. So Morton is a winner tonight over Canton. Aaron, thanks for that. He's our Friday Night Football correspondent. You can follow him on Twitter at @sports_Aaron. Now with a look at a big Heart of Illinois Conference matchup, we send it over to Kurt Pegler.
Thank you, Matt. We are now joined from our Twin Cities newsroom by Eric Stock. He's live there. He works for our radio news partner, WGLT, in the Twin Cities. He called tonight's game between El Paso Gridley and Ridgeview on the Central Illinois Farm Network. And win number one for the Titans. What a defensive effort, Eric. I'm looking at these numbers. 20 straight points in the second quarter, and they took advantage of 7 turnovers. What a defensive night for the Titans.
Yeah, they did a lot of it, Kurt, with defense when they were scoring points. They got one big play on offense that helped set it up, though. Dylan Gray, their senior quarterback, connects with Aiden Landers for a 58-yard play that got them inside the 10-yard line. They would score soon after that, Aiden Barth catching the touchdown pass that puts them up 7-0. That after a botched kickoff return on the ensuing kickoff, Gray would punch it in soon after that on the quarterback keeper. His first of 2 rushing touchdowns. He also threw for 2 scores. They get an interception right before halftime, and they punch it in with 7 seconds to go before the break. So at that point, they have a 20-0 lead over Ridgeview Lexington, who came in undefeated, and the Mustangs were not the same after that.
And a big win for Luke Drone, the former Illinois State quarterback, in his first head coaching position with the Titans. That must have been a nice night there on the sidelines for him.
Yeah, no question. Talking to him before the game, he was relaxed, he was comfortable, he knows what's going on in practice, and he felt that they were right there. The execution hadn't quite been there during the games, but he felt that they were making strides. And if they could get a big play here or there, get their confidence going, get some breaks, that is what happened. And it started to snowball in a good way for them. They were much more excited after they got off to the great start. And that continued into the second half against a Ridgeview Lexington team that was clearly deflated after that. And you get the sense that after this 0-2 start, and they're working out the kinks of a new system, new offense, with a new coaching unit in place, that they are ready to take off and perhaps become a contender again.
And in our final 15 seconds, the Mustangs just have to kind of put this one behind them. You mentioned they were off to a good start, and let's move forward and maybe learn from these mistakes.
Yeah, no question. And then when they fell behind on those early turnovers, they put themselves in situations where they had to be predictable offensively, and that's where they sort of fell into the hands of El Paso Gridley, and that's what led to a lot of those turnovers in the second half.
Thanks for the insight, Eric. Well, you can be sure to follow Eric on Twitter at EricWGLT.